A regular contracting triangle is a 5-wave structure labeled as a wave A, B, C, D, E, where the BD trend line and the AC trend line are contracting towards one another. A regular contracting triangle can appear in any of the structures that I wrote in the box over here. Wave B of a zigzag, wave X, wave Y of a double combo, WXY, wave Z in a triple combo, WXYXZ, and in a wave 4. All the waves in a triangle have to be part of the zigzag family, either a simple, a double, or a triple zigzag. 4 out of the 5 waves, however, have to be a simple zigzag structure in an ABC to the upside or an ABC to the downside. It is by far most common for a wave A, a wave B, and a wave E to be a simple zigzag structure. If one of the waves is not a simple structure, it is most commonly wave C or wave D, which then tends to be a more complex structure in a double or a triple zigzag. Wave E, in very rare occasions, can also be a triangle, which extends the range even longer. Wave E is also commonly overshooting or undershooting the AC trend line, which doesn't mean taking the low of this wave C. However, the trend line is broken, creating a small little fake out, and then eventually you move to the other side. Oftentimes in a triangle, you will also see that the volume is declining as the pattern is evolving. The invalidation of a regular contracting triangle is changing as the pattern is evolving. It all starts with wave A. Once A is finished and you move towards wave B, the invalidation is the high or the low of your wave A. When B is finished, B also becomes an invalidation, meaning you have 2 invalidations on the chart, the B pivot and the A pivot. Once wave C is finished, the invalidation from wave A is going to move to the C pivot. Once wave D is finished, the invalidation of wave B is going to move to wave D. Once your wave E is finished, your invalidation of wave C is going to move towards the wave E pivot because now you expect continuation. The target area for your wave B, C, D, and E are the same. The most common target area is between the golden pocket and the 786, with the 05 and the 886 being uncommon targets. For a wave B, you pull these fibs from the start to the end of A. For your wave C, you pull the fibs from the start to the end of wave B. For wave D, you pull the same fibs from the start to the end of wave C, and eventually for your wave E, you pull the same fibs from the start to the end of wave D. Looking at fib time, the next wave preferably ends at least after the 382 fib time. It is very rare if that is not the case. For a wave B, that means you take a fib time from the start to the end of your wave A. Same is true for wave C against a wave B, wave D against wave C, and wave E against wave D, where for wave E you pull a fib time from the start to the end of wave D and toggle on the 382. It is also common for each wave to be a little bit shorter than the previous wave, which is quite understandable as we are looking for a contracting structure where all of the waves are becoming smaller and smaller. It is not a hard rule, it is more like a guideline and something that is good to know. Wave B, C, D, and E can also still be longer than the previous wave, so longer than the 1-to-1, which is no problem, but the moment a wave B in this particular example is going to range to a 4, 5, 6 fib time, it significantly reduces the probabilities you're looking at a triangle. An important tip that I like to give you is to only consider a triangle after your wave D is in. Up till that point, other scenarios most likely have a higher probability, and as an example, I have a WXY that I like to show you, which is a sideways double combo with a zigzag in W, zigzag in a wave X, and then a flat structure in a wave Y. Now let's take a step back and observe this exact structure from the perspective of a triangle. Here we have a wave A, B, C, D, E, and after wave E we are looking for continuation. However, instead of continuation we create a fake out, grab the liquidity and move the opposite way. So what is going wrong and what do you have to pay attention to? Well, it's mainly that wave D. So wave A is a zigzag, B is a zigzag in this scenario as well, C is a zigzag as well, but in this case wave D as drawn on the chart is not a zigzag but an impulse. It is wrongly identified as a zigzag. This is a 5-wave structure instead of a 3-wave structure. Wave E, however, can be a zigzag as well. Now, because this is a five-wave structure, which can be very subtle, you immediately have to think about a WXY, where you have a zigzag in a W, zigzag in a wave X, and then in wave A of the bigger wave Y, you also have a zigzag structure, and then inside your wave B of a flat inside wave Y, you have a bigger zigzag, creating the fake out top, grabbing the liquidity to then move towards the downside. Now, things do become very complex if you, in wave B of a bigger flat structure, have a double zigzag inside your wave B, which is a possibility. So that means you would have an A, B, C three-wave corrective structure, which can also still be a zigzag, as this is then a W, you label this an X, and then you have a move to the upside in a wave Y, which is a zigzag as well. A double zigzag, however, is a lot less common than a simple zigzag. So if you do count a zigzag over here, then the triangle has valid probabilities to have a wave D, a finished wave E, and then move out of the triangle. Do keep in mind the ratio of the waves, because if wave D is indeed a zigzag, it is valid for a triangle, but also still a double zigzag in the WXY. So what you then want to pay attention to is how the waves are matching to one another with regards to time, because in a WXY, wave Y is commonly matching wave W between the 0.618 and the 1.618 Fib time that you take from the start to the end of W to the end of wave X, which means that this whole structure is quite similar in length usually compared to your wave W. Now that in turn means that likely your wave A as well as the beginning of your wave B is quite short in time compared to what you actually want to see in a triangle, where you like to see more stretched out structures that look better. Because what you do see happening often online as well is that you have a triangle in a wave A, a nice wave B, a solid wave C, and then you have a D and an E. And then your D and E are incredibly short compared to the structures that we had before, which lowers the probabilities for a triangle and increases probabilities for other structures. This is everything that you have to know about a regular contracting triangle. If there are any questions, please make sure to ask.